Right, let's go ahead and learn about our first volume type called empty dir. So as the name suggests, empty dir, this means that this volume initially is empty and it's a temporary directory that shares the pod lifetime. So if the pod dies, then you actually lose the contents inside of this temporary directory. And also it's used for sharing data between containers inside of a pod. Now inside of VS Code, what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to create a new file, and here I'm going to call it as empty dash and then dir dash and then volume dot and then YAML, just like that. And in here, what we're going to do is the following. We're going to have deployment, and then here I'm going to name this empty and then dir, and let's just say dash and then volume in here. And for the match label, let's just leave it as it is. For the app as well, leave as it is. And inside of containers in here, we're going to name this container as 1, and you'll see why in a second, because we're going to create a second one. And then the image, change this to busy and then box. So busy box is an image which is used for testing purposes. Now in here, we're going to get rid of ports. And what I want to do is the following. So here, I'm just going to leave it as is for now, and I want you to see what is going to happen in a second. So let's just leave it like this. And also what we're going to do is we're going to create a second image in here, just like this. Oops. So just like that. And let's name this as 2. So also we don't need ports in here. And there we have it. So now we have 2 containers right here. And now let's create the volume that these 2 containers will share in a second. Now to create the volume is as follows. So inside of spec, same level as containers, we can say volumes in here. Now we can name this. I'm going to call it as cache. So we're going to mimic a caching memory type. And here I'm going to press Control Space, and you can see that I do get auto completion, and we have a bunch of types that we can choose. So here, let's just select empty dir, and here it says empty dir represents a temporary directory that shares a pod lifetime. So let's just stick to this one. And the way we use the empty dir is by using these curly brackets in here, and there we go. So now that we have this empty dir, so this volume, which is a temporary directory, we can now use it inside of these containers. Now the way we use it is as follows. We can say volume and then mounts. So here, this takes an array because we can mount multiple volumes. So here I'm going to say name, and here, so the name has to be, so if I just put auto completion there, you can see here, this must match the name of a volume. So let me just select that. And then the name of the volume is cache. So the one that we've just created. And then here we need to pass the path, or actually mount path in here. So this is where we want to mount this volume. So here, let's just say / and then foo, and you'll see this in a second. So there we go. So we mounted this volume to this container. Now let's just do the same for this second one. So I'm going to grab this line, or actually the volume mounts in there, and then paste that in there. So there we have it. Now what I want to do is the following. So here I'm going to save this and then open up my terminal, and then let's apply. So kubectl apply, and then empty dir volume.yaml, and I missed K in there, so apply -f, my bad, not K, F, so the file. There we go, and created kubectl get and then pods dash and then W. Now watch. So this said completed, and then completed in here 7 seconds, and now it's actually in crash loop back off. And I want to show you that if I say get pods again, it's actually in crash loop back off. So let's just say that we want to see the logs. So cube ctl and then logs and then pass that. And here we need to choose -c, so container 1, and there's nothing there. Here I'm going to say 2, there is nothing there. Now the reason why this is happening is because this image right here pretty much just comes up and dies immediately, right? So there isn't a process which is running and making this process to be alive. So instead, what we want to do is, so in here after image, we want to say command, and here this takes an array, and we can define an array like this, where we have multiple items or elements just like that. Whoops. Or if you prefer, you can have like this. So both of these are the exact same thing. So here, let's just say here we want to execute /bin /sh, just like that. And then we want to pass some arguments inside. And the first argument that I want to pass, and by the way, I think they prefer this syntax. So I want to pass -c, and then here I want to execute the string. And what I want to do is the following. So first I want to basically say touch and then bar.txt. And this file here, I want to store it inside of this mount path. So here, this will be /foo/ and then the name of the file. So let's just change here to be like this as well. So we just use one way of doing things. So there we go. So now that we have the file, now I want to basically run another command, because here this will just run this command and then the container will basically die. So what I want to do is keep the container alive, and for that I'm going to say and sleep and then 360 seconds. So this will do the trick. Now let's also go to the second container in here, so number 2, and here what I want to do here is the following. I just want to run a command, and the command will be sleep, and here I want to say 360 seconds, or 3600 seconds, my bad. So the exact same configuration as here. So here I'm actually using command and then passing some arguments, and here I'm just using the command directly because I don't have any other arguments. So here I'm saying touching a file and then sleep. So there we have it. So this now will solve the issue. Now let me save this file and let's continue on the next video.